All right. Okay, you guys, good morning. It's 9 o'clock sharp, and welcome to our Tuesday morning personal development call. Third call of the year. Today is January 14th, 2014. And, January 14th, 2014. So what a lucky day. Anyhow, all right, you guys, so listen, what we're going to be doing on this call is we're going to be building from everything that we've been doing. For those of you who are joining us perhaps for the first couple of times, we have been doing these calls since last September, if I'm not mistaken. And the whole premises of these calls was how to become an authentic leader. But more importantly, it was how do you become an authentic leader is by really having consciousness and being aware of yourself. So for the last several months, we've been really building like a case or a foundation of what does it take to be an authentic leader. And one of the things that we have been working on very, very, very hard, at least I hope that we have, is that to be an authentic leader and to be a leader, somebody that has influence upon from others, is that the first thing you have to do is be self-aware. And for many, many months, we have been doing self-awareness checks, really realizing or thinking or noticing your thoughts, your actions, how you're speaking to yourself, what you say, what you're saying in your mind, what you're saying out loud, and more importantly, being really aware and being conscious of your surroundings. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because this has been the foundation of these calls, and so we have been building from that concept. However, the first call series was all about consciousness and really knowing who you are and what you're about and being aware of everything that you say, do, and act, right? The second series of the calls was from that foundation. Now, what does it take to be a leader? What are the principles? And we started getting into context of what does it mean to be a leader? What are the concepts that one must follow in order to lead people? And that could include our second series calls. So what we've been doing now since the beginning of the year is now building on that and talking about what is it going to take to have a fantastic 2014. And for those of you who were not on the calls from the beginning, I'm going to do a really quick summary so that you can take some notes, because if you haven't done this, I really highly encourage you to start. Because here's the deal. If you want to have an outstanding 2014, or I'll say we because I include myself, if we want to have an outstanding 2014, we must start doing outstanding things. And if we want to have a different year than we did last year, we must do different things. Otherwise, if we keep doing what we've been doing for the last several years, we're going to keep having what we've been having. So I really encourage you guys to really take this on. And I'm going to include myself in this. Everything that I've been telling you guys to do, I've been doing. Now, have I been successful every single time, as I confessed to you guys on the last week's call? No. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect. It's about really making progress. And one of the things that I love this concept, and that was your results are just feedback, okay? The results that you're having, they're just feedback as far as what is going on internally. Because here's the thing that you must know. Everything around you, everything from the car you drive to your bank account, everything that's material that you can measure and see and observe, right? Everything of all that is just a reflection of what's going on inside. So if we, because I don't have one either, if we don't have a Lear jet, it's because there's something inside of us that's not in alignment with having a Lear jet. Now, maybe it's because it's not important to you, right? But let's say if you wanted one, but you don't have it, that's because there's an internal conflict going on that says that maybe you can have it or it's too hard or whatever. So now that's where it all starts, is internally, and the outside is just giving you a reflection of what's going on inside. Your body is a reflection of your belief of what kind of body you deserve and what kind of body you can have. Now, you're probably thinking, Karla, no, are you kidding me? I want a six-pack. Yeah, but here's the deal, if we put, pastry in our mouth, then the six-pack is not that important, right? So all of these calls have been all about a reflection and a consciousness of what's going on inside. So what we did this year, and this is why I'm bringing this up, is because I really encourage all of us who have not done this to do it. And that is the first thing that we did the first call of the year was to start reflecting as far as what is it that you want 2014. Like, what are you committed to having? Who are you committed to being? So I know some of you might make a list, like a list, like 1, 2, 3 of things you want to conquer. For me, I actually wrote a paragraph. Like I actually wrote a letter to myself, okay? And I wrote a letter to myself talking to Karla as far as like, this is what I want 2014 to be. This is the kind of relationships I want to build, the kind of body I want to have, all that, okay? So you do whatever works best for you, but take a couple of minutes, okay, or maybe even half an hour and self-reflect as far as what you want 2014 to look like and what do you want it to be and who do you want to be in this game of 2014. Then I am going to ask you to do 2 things if you didn't already do this. And if you did, maybe you want to go back and revisit it. And that is the first question after you write down your list of goals or your paragraph of goals. And that is, what is going to get in the way from accomplishing these goals? For you to look at what is it that I perhaps know or can perceive or have a feeling that is not going to allow me to have these things. Like, for example, maybe you're in a relationship that you want to have a six-pack, but your relationship partner keeps bringing in donuts, for example, right? So one of the things that might get in the way is your partner's eating habits, okay? So that's not, I'm not asking you to make this list just to put them down. It's just to be aware so that you can win, right? So to make a list or write down all the things that can get in the way from you accomplishing your goals, distractions. Maybe it's people. Maybe it's your beliefs. One of the things that I wrote down is my own stupid thoughts, okay? Because sometimes I want something, but then this little voice inside of me says, you know, come on, Karla, you really can't have it all, right? So that's one thing that I wrote down that could get in my way. So write down all the things that can get in your way. Now, you're not going to stop there. The third thing that I asked you to do was to now write down what are things that you're going to put in place to make sure that you succeed. What are the things that you need to put in place to make sure that you accomplish these goals in 2014 and that you can overcome those things that are going to get in the way? So, for example, if your spouse is constantly bringing donuts, you know, every day and you want a six-pack, for example, right? So now it's not a matter of going and like beating her or him up about bringing donuts, but now that you're aware that that's something that can get in the way, what can you put in place so that you don't get tempted? What can you put in place so you win with this, you know, six-pack game, whatever, right? And that is, you might start writing down, okay, you know what, I'm going to start bringing home, you know, whatever your favorite fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, you know, or I'm going to enroll her or him in doing this with me. I'm going to enroll them in working out with me. I'm going to enroll them in going shopping and not buying those donuts. I'm going to enroll them in not spending that money on, you know, flour and dough and fat, okay? So for me, one of the things that I put in place was I need to have a coach that is going to be strong enough to, you know, that loves me enough to care, but strong enough to not buy my BS. So write down the things that you're going to put in place. What is it that you need to make sure that you can overcome these obstacles that are going to get in the way and that you can accomplish your goals 2014? Then last week we built on this whole concept of Core 4, which I'm not going to go into details about, okay? But basically it was like scoring yourself as far as like what, you know, the 4 areas of your life, and you were going to get a half a point every day for your body, a half a point if you ate right, a half a point or whatever that definition of nutrition was for you, and a half a point for fitness. Then you're going to get a half a point for your spirituality. You're going to get a half a point for meditating 5 minutes a day minimum, and another half a point for studying something spiritual, whether it was the Bible or, you know, whatever. For me, sometimes I just open up YouTube and I, you know, listen to something spiritual, whatever that case, whatever it is for you. Then you were going to do, the third part of it was about relationships. And you were going to pick 2 relationships that you wanted to build on, and every single day you were going to nourish them. And you were going to do a half a point per relationship that you did anything that day to nourish them. And the fourth part was about business. And you were going to get a half a point every day that you study something to do with business, and the other half a point for taking action in something that was related to your business, whatever definitions of action you did, for a total of 4 points. Now, I confessed to you guys last week, you know, that I got like, I think it was 16.7 out of 28, right? And, you know, and it's not for me to beat myself up. It's just like, okay, Karla, you know, I really dropped the ball on the whole spirituality part of it. And so one of the things, you know, for fitness, I was pretty good almost all week. Sunday, I totally dropped the ball. But, you know, here's the deal. It wasn't about beating myself up. It was about looking at that and saying, okay, what areas of my life am I really focusing on, and what areas of my life am I totally neglecting? So what we're going to do today on this call is we're going to build on that concept, and that is the first thing we want to do when you start doing these measurements of looking at the core four concepts and looking at the 4 areas of your life that are important to you, and you define what gives you those half points, okay? Once you do that, one of the things I'm going to encourage you guys to do is to not only look at the score, but this week I'm going to encourage you guys to really be self-aware. And that is, why are you dropping the ball in whatever area you're dropping the ball in? Okay? And here's the thing. Like, I will confess to you guys, one of the things that I noticed for myself was that when I meditated, so, as I said, the last week, not last week, but the week before that, I really dropped the ball in the whole meditation, the whole spirituality part, okay? But I did notice that those days that I did, that the days that I actually meditated 5 minutes in the morning and visualized my day, I noticed that day went by really smoothly, and things went right almost according to plan, okay? And I noticed that the days that I didn't, I was like a freaking chicken without a head cut off. So one of the things that I noticed for myself, okay, was why was I dropping the ball there? And what I discovered for me was I just didn't see it being all that important. Like, I was sitting there meditating, and my head was like going, okay, I really have other things to do than just being sitting here with my eyes closed, right? Or at night, instead of like taking like 5-10 minutes of just being gratitude, or maybe like, I have this thing on my phone, it's called Gateway, and it reads the Bible to you. Rather than doing that, I would sit there sometimes and look at Facebook before I went to sleep. So why? And one of the things that I noticed is that, to really look within myself and reflect a lot of things, sometimes I don't really like what I reflect on. So rather than like being aware of that or like beating myself over not doing it, I just really became conscious, like, okay, this is what's going on. Okay, for example, somebody once told me, you know what, Karla, like, I really want to do well in my business. I really want things to go well. But I've noticed that last week, I hardly scored points in the area of my business. I mean, like, yeah, I did like quote-unquote activity, but I wasn't really productive, and I wasn't studying, I wasn't going to the meetings, I wasn't doing this, I wasn't doing that. And then listen to what they said. I love this. I was so grateful that this person kind of was really, really honest with me and opened up. And they said, and the thing is, I even started like noticing that I even like kind of started lying. Like not like bad lies, but like, like if I had to go give some products, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll be there. And if I had to go to a meeting, oh yeah, I'll show up. And then I didn't drop off the products on time, or not even that day. I just wasn't following through with what I was saying. And I wasn't following through on what I wanted to follow through, but for whatever reason, I was not going through with my word, and I was even lying. And one of the things, first, let's call this person Juan, okay? So I said, listen, John, first of all, thank you for being so honest with yourself, because you can lie to me, right? And that's just one more lie. But thank you for being honest with yourself and honoring yourself for speaking the truth. Because here's the thing, you guys, when we talk about integrity, and this is one of the calls that we did last year, and that is integrity is not only doing what you said you were going to do by the time you said you were going to do it, but integrity is also having integrity with yourself, honoring yourself, not speaking negative words and negative connotation with yourself. That's also being an integrity. And to me, that's probably even more important, okay, to have integrity with how you treat yourself. And so I told this, let's call him John, like I said. I told this John guy, I'm like, you know what, thank you so much for being so honest with yourself and really honoring yourself. Because here's the thing I will tell you, and that is, this week I'm going to encourage you guys to do the same, and that is, what area of your life are you out of integrity in? And what I mean by that is, what area of your life do you know that something within you is not okay? There's something inside of you that's not okay, like something's not in alignment with who and what you want. And I, for example, this particular person's in a relationship. I said, look, I don't know your relationship status, but here's the thing, okay? I'm assuming this particular person is amazing, but let's just assume that she's not. And maybe and this could be a relationship in your nutritional club. It can be a relationship with your partner. It can be any kind of relationship, right? But I said, look, here's the deal. Maybe there's something like not okay with you and the way own. Like something's not okay with you as far as like how maybe this relationship is not what you want, but you're in it because you feel that you have to, or you're in it because you feel that you have no choice, or, well, this is, she's really nice, and et cetera. And you're like justifying your behaviors. And as a result of that, and not having those conversations, you're uneasy. And because you're uneasy, you're living a lie. And because you're living a lie, now it's spilling over in other areas of your life. Does that make sense? And he's like, oh, man, yeah. He's like, no, it's cool. It's not with her, but I know I'm like, no, I'm just using her as an example, like, it could be anything. It could be that maybe, you don't want to do something. Maybe you don't want to, take action or part of something, but you are. And so therefore, you're like beating yourself up because the reality is you don't really want to be doing what you say you're doing. Or you don't really want to participate in things you say you want to participate. So now you're like forced into situations that you really don't want to be part of. And because you're like not being honest and truthful with yourself in that area, guess what? Other areas of your life are suffering because the way you are in one area of your life, you are in all the areas of your life. And that's why you're dropping the ball in your business. So here's the deal, you guys. This whole core 4 concept is not only for you to score 4 points, right, or score a total of 28 per week, but it's really an opportunity for you to be able to look at this every single day at the end of the day and say, all right, how much did I score? Like one day, oh, my God, one day I scored like a point. And I felt so stupid that I'm like, okay, what can I do to score at least a half a more point? And I opened YouTube and I listened to some Bible study, right? So I got a half a point so I got a 1.5 that day, right? But here's the thing, I'm like laughing because it's like a game, right? But the point of the game is this, and that is to have an opportunity to self-reflect and to have an opportunity for you to look at every single day, how are you doing? And every single week, how did your week go? And not from a point of view of, like I said, like beating yourself up over it, but from a point of view of what can I do to make this better? What can I put in place so that tomorrow is a better day? What can I put in place so that tomorrow I'm more full of integrity with myself? I got to tell you, last Monday, I scored a 4. I was so excited. I was like, yes. Right? I actually woke up. I meditated for about, actually it was like maybe like 15 minutes, okay? I meditated. I did what I needed to do. I went out, worked out, did my fitness thing, everything. And it felt so good. Now, the next day, I didn't score a 4, okay? But the point of this is now that I know that I can, now it's a matter of me saying, okay, what did I do last Monday that allowed me to win? What did I do last Monday that allowed me to score those 4 points? So that now I have a formula of winning. So when you do this, it's all about reflecting. So this week, guys, what I'm going to ask you to do is the following, and that is to self-reflect. Where are you at? What are you doing? What are you saying? Who are you being? So that every week could be a little better, a little better, a little better. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you guys about this call before I open it up to shares and questions, and that is, why are we doing this, okay? Why are we doing all this self-reflection and concept and all that is so that you can become a more authentic, powerful leader. So what I'm going to do really quickly here in the next 5 minutes is we're going to talk about what are the 5 levels of leadership and how do you increase your influence amongst people. Okay, but it all starts with you, which is why we started the conversation with you, like you being self-reflective, you realizing where are you dropping the ball, you realizing what works, what doesn't work. This is going to catapult you to move forward, okay? Now, let's talk about these 5 levels of leadership. The first level of leadership is this concept of leadership, and that is the first way that you start getting influence amongst people is by position. So level 1 equals, so put level 1 is position. And here is the fact that when you have a sense, when you have influence from somebody from just a position, it means that it is because of who you are. Maybe you're the manager. Maybe it's, here in Herbalife, it's like a pin, like a Get Team pin, Millionaire Team pin, whatever it is, right? So you have some influence over people only and solely because of your position. Okay, and that's level 1. Now, what I want you to do right next to that is I want you to write down frustration. And that is when you are operating solely on level 1, which is position, what ends up happening is you end up having a lot of frustration because here people feel like, well, they have to listen to me because I'm their manager, or they have to listen to me because because I'm their sponsor, or because I'm their get team member, or I'm their president, whatever the case may be. When you come from a place, here it's like you're imposing your leadership upon them because of who you are. There's a lot of frustration involved. And the reason is because they're only doing what you say, and you only have influence with them because of the position. Okay, now here's where you have to start, because it's not like, you can't have like leadership unless they kind of like look up to you, right? So that's level one. Now level two is called permission. And here is somebody will follow you and somebody will allow you to lead them because they give you permission to, and the way that they give you permission is that they know that you care genuinely about them. So next to permission, I want you to write down care and put a heart next to it, okay? And that is that, as they say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And here is exactly where this plays out, and that is that people will start following you, and you have influence on them because, yes, maybe you're their sponsor, you're their manager, you're their mother, you're their father, or maybe because you've got a higher pin than them. But for them to continue to respect and to follow you, they must feel that you care. So the second level of this is that they feel that you care, therefore you will have a higher level of influence upon them. And that's level two. Level three is called results. And here's the concept of this, is that people will start following you. You have a greater level of influence on them. When you have, level one, which is maybe you're their sponsor or your get team, meal team, whatever the case may be. And then they also feel that you care. And then on top of that, you are somebody that shows them results. You've got even a higher level of influence, which is we call a level 3 of influence of leadership upon that person or that group. But here's the tricky part of level 3. Okay, and that is many people, and I will confess that in 2001, I was operating like this, and that is you can have a level of influence upon people when you produce results, and people will follow you because they know that with you, like let's say you're like a personal trainer, right, and you completely can generate results for somebody, but if people don't feel that second level of leadership, which is that you care about them, what ends up happening is that influence will collapse. So a lot of times what happens is there's very effective people, like in 2001, I was very effective in generating results. Like people used to tell me, Karla, draw out my organization, map my team out, map my projections out. And because they knew that if I did it, if we had a plan, guess what? We knew how to execute them. And if we said they were going to get team, or we said they were going to get to, world team or whatever by X amount of days, they knew that I knew how to get it done. But here's the thing, right? The moment if you don't have level 2 in place, like if you have position 1 and you skip level 2 and you're in position 3 where you're just generating results, but they do not feel that you genuinely care, the moment you stop creating results, or the moment they stop getting results, that leadership, that influence will completely collapse. So I'm sure, and I am certain that you have met people, people that can generate results, whether it's with a business, with somebody's body, like maybe they were personal trainers. Like I'll give you my personal trainer. My last personal trainer, he knew how to get me results, right? Like he was an awesome guy and teaching me how to do certain moves and all this stuff. Okay, but he really didn't care. At first he did, but the moment that I saw that he didn't care, and the moment that I had no longer, for my competition, I no longer needed those results, his influence with me was done. That I didn't even want to follow him anymore, and we terminated our contract, and our relationship did not continue. So I know that you have experienced this, maybe in a manager's position, in an Herbalife, in your job, or maybe even with, at school or something like that, where you have somebody that can create results, and you're like following them, and they look like they care, but then you all of a sudden notice, hey, you know what, they really don't care. And the moment that you notice that, and you no longer need those results, that relationship is done. So here's what I'm trying to tell you so it doesn't happen to you, because this is a really tricky position in level 3, and that is it's a very powerful one, and it's very enticing because everybody wants to be around people that create results, especially if you're creating results around something that is important to them. People want to be around that. But then the moment that excitement is done, you're done. The moment that results are done, you're done. You no longer have influence, and they will no longer consider you their leader. I'm spending a lot of time on the subject because this is where people, most of us, and I include myself, this is where when in 2001, this is where I got stuck. Because I was like, I don't understand. They're not grateful. They're not this. They're not that. Well, hello, Karla. It's because I didn't feel that I cared. And maybe I did care, but I didn't show it. So very, very important that you go one on top of the other and you don't skip that level 2. Now, level 4 is, I want you to write this down, and it's development. When you have the level 4, and that is that people will follow you because you not only have a position, not only do you care about them, not only do you produce results, but level 4 is that you develop them as people. You develop them as leaders. So when they see that you are the kind of person that genuinely cares and you produce results, but in addition to that, you really you have an interest to develop them as human beings and to develop them as leaders, put next to that level 4 equals loyalty. You have a level of loyalty among these people that is like bar to none. Okay? Now, I can give my parents as an example of this. My mom is like, level 2 to the max, right? People love my mom, not only because she's a chairman's club member, yes, she's got the position, but also level 2 is that she has got this big heart that that whatever she tells you, it's because she loves you. Even if she says it's not very nice, right? Like, that it's coming from a place of love. Now, the other thing is, number 3 is that when you work with them, you know that with my parents, like, you'll get results. Like, whatever the case may be, whether it's a meeting, whatever the case may be, you get results. But now, here's the other thing. You know that not only are they there to give you results, but they have this genuine interest in developing you as a person. That they actually, and my mom is really good at this, that they actually, like, really care about what you're going through, not from, like, a counselor's perspective, but, like, as a human being. And my dad is really good at, like, really developing people as in the business, like, for them to be better leaders, for them to have results for themselves, and to develop them as better, Herbalife distributors. So here's the deal. When you have that level 4, you've got total loyalty. Now, you can do this with a client, okay? You can do this with a client. You can, you're their wellness coach, level 1. You genuinely care, that's level 2. Level 3, you can get them results with the products. And then level 4, maybe you do something to help them be better people. Like maybe you share a YouTube video on how to overcome eating binges. Or maybe you share a YouTube video or a call. Maybe you share this call with them to get their mindset straight. So they know that with you, not only do you care about them getting results on the products, but that you're really caring about them, really, really becoming better people for their lives. Level 4. And lastly, level 5, because we have like 1 more minute left, and that is level 5, and that is the pinnacle point. Now here, I'm not going to spend time with this because you only get to level 5 with time. That's a Mother Teresa and Oprah Winfrey, Mandela. It's like they get on stage and they just, because of their name, because of who they've been for so long, not only have they been leaders, but they've been leaders for years. And now with just them standing on stage and saying their name, people will follow them. They have influence because of their life journey, of who they've been, and they've been consistent about who they've been. So that's level 5, but that's like the pinnacle point. You only get there with time. So in conclusion, you guys, I want to encourage you. We're going to open the lines right now to share and have any questions or any comments, but I'm going to really encourage you guys to really make this week not only a week of scoring points on your core 4, but to really look at your concepts and have a reflection as far as like what has been going on, why are you not scoring those points? And if you don't have this core 4 concept, text me, email me, so that I can send you at least like an outline of how to go about it. Okay? So hang on, don't hang up. Let me end the recording.